Hi, this is Callum. This is the fourth and final part of the discussion on the Michel Thomas language learning methodology. I previously discussed in the first three parts the linguistic and psychological workings of the course from Michel Thomas's own point of view. What I'm now going to do is to begin by describing what happens to me when I use the Michel Thomas courses and how I've been able to pick up a number of different modern foreign languages to varying degrees of linguistic proficiency. So, obviously, as I've already discussed, Michel Thomas uses the spoken language as the initial point of departure, so all we're getting from the CD courses are the sounds of the words. And what happens to me is, as soon as I've heard a sound of the word, bearing in mind that Michel Thomas tells us not to write anything down, what I then do is to create, as I mentioned here, a mental imprint on my mind in terms of how I believe the spelling of that particular word which I've heard is. So the sounds convert immediately into graphological imprints on my head, in other words, what I believe are the spellings of those words. I then, after a time, go away and use an online dictionary or a pocket dictionary to consult the correct spellings of those words, and from there I can get a conscious awareness of the rules of pronunciation which govern any particular modern foreign language, and therefore when I hear new words spoken for the first time on the CD courses, I can usually predict quite accurately what the correct spellings are, and then when I go away and consult them in a dictionary, more often than not they are correct. Sometimes there might be slight variations as regards what I thought the spelling was and what the correct spelling of the word actually is. So that helps me to master the pronunciation and also helps me to increase my vocabulary. For example, if I went away and consulted an online dictionary, what I would do is I'd visualize the spelling of the word and then be confident that I knew how that particular word would be pronounced. Then moving on to the final sheet, what we have here is just an overview of what the Michel Thomas course is all about. We have structural integrations. We have different sentence structures in place which can be combined with one another, which overlap one another. Implemented into that, we have Michel Thomas giving simplified grammar explanations at all times, which are then implemented on a secondary plane, the primary plane being the spoken language and the gradual putting together of words within the correct word order. And then what happens is we repeat the different structures, we implement into the different structures what we know, for example, about cognates, what we know about the workings of pronouns, and then slowly but surely the sentences are of an increasing length which we're asked to translate. And then what we get from that is not only an understanding of the language grammar, not only an understanding of the different structures which are in place, but that we can go away as soon as we finish the advanced course, for example, and then create sentences of an increasing length. So I think what we have to do, and particularly what I do, is if I'm not listening to the Michel Thomas course, I'm thinking of or giving consideration to the different linguistic structures which have been given to me, and then I'm just talking to myself, inventing sentences, usually ones which are up to 20 or 30 words in length at a time. And also being a teacher, what I'm also doing is I've now started to develop a system whereby the different resources which I've put together for teaching, what I'm doing is I'm putting those into the different modern foreign languages which I've studied since November 2008 when I first began out with Italian. And it's given me a reassurance and it's giving me the motivation to actually improve my vocabulary, to gain an understanding of the structures, to use grammar references, grammar books in order to boost that understanding, and therefore I'm very pleased that I've got to such a level of high motivation, and I hope that through using Michel Thomas and then afterwards when you go away to read more of the language, when you make use of other linguistic resources, other audio CD products, grammar references, online dictionaries, online grammar exercises, that you, through integrating a higher number of language learning products and language learning resources, can gain such or a similar high level of motivation as myself, and that encourages you to go even further with your language or languages, and over time get an indication and become fully aware that you are indeed progressing, and that demotivation, total demotivation, is actually completely lost, and that is an extremely good thing.